right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Oh, say can you see?
From Uncle Charlie's solo to a standing O for the Clydesdales, the best traditions in baseball kicked off at Busch.
It's a holiday, really. Opening day is a holiday.
We have team coverage of the Cardinals.
And our top story tonight, a weather first weather alert for Friday and Saturday. Thunder already rumbling in some areas right now. We're tracking when the severe weather threat arrives.
Here's a live look at the radar. Our Weather First team has been monitoring it all week to track when the severe weather will get to our area. Thank you for being with us tonight. I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Mike Bush. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell with a timeline for when these storms arrive.
You know, we've already seen the storms start to pick up around the metro area. They're not severe. None of what we see during the overnight hours is expected to be severe. Could they create a little hail? Sure. Will there be some downpours? Of course. But we're not talking about severe weather during the overnight hours, even if you hear some of that hail, downpours, or rumbles of thunder. Pretty quiet out at Lambert right now. We had some thunder earlier. That batch has pushed off to the east now and lighting up your sky over around Greenville, Illinois, and about to push into Vandalia. You might even see some small hail with that. We broadened out the picture, and you can see there are more showers and thunderstorms rolling up Highway 44 and coming up out of southeast Missouri and out of the Ozarks through Centerville, Lesterville, heading towards Farmington and Deloge. Now, as we go farther back into the Ozarks, more showers, more thunderstorms. This whole area will be propagating north and east during the overnight hours. None of that is expected to be severe overnight. Now, the winds have already picked up this afternoon and they have continued into this evening. They'll be stronger tomorrow afternoon into Saturday. That has nothing to do with the thunderstorms. So these overnight thunderstorms are not severe. All of us are going to see wind tomorrow into tomorrow night and into Saturday. But our severe storm chances, that's really after lunchtime tomorrow into tomorrow evening, and scattered severe storms are possible tomorrow. This is not going to be a huge, everybody gets severe weather kind of event. It's going to be limited. We're taking a look at some of the latest guidance right now, and we'll give you an update in about 15 minutes. Ann?
We're watching the weather system around the clock, and you can get the forecast sent straight to your phone. Just text the word weather to 314-425-5355, and you'll get a link sent directly to you.
We kick off another.
It's the jingle every Cardinal fan loves. Today, the Clydesdales made their annual trot around the field for opening day. The Cardinals Hall of Famers in their red jackets all proudly stood behind home plate. The fans cheered. And while an injury kept Adam Wainwright from taking the mound, it didn't stop him from stealing the show.
Is there anything he can't do? Waino surprised everyone, even his teammates, with his 2-minute rendition of the national anthem. He's pitched in a World Series, but he says this experience takes the pennant for his scariest moment at Busch.
That was the most nervous I've ever been on a baseball field, times 7. Like, not even close. Way more nervous. I had a blast. It's one of the most fun things I've ever done, honestly. The fans have always made me feel loved, and they especially did today.
He says he couldn't even get more than a minute or two of practice this morning because he wanted to keep it a surprise.
And Waino may have started the day on a high note, but the rest of the pitching staff couldn't get into rhythm. Our Frank Cusimano is here now to bring us up to speed on what happened during the game. Frank?
Yeah, before we get too worried about this Cardinal pitching staff, and it was brutal, remember 2 things. First, it's one game. Second, the Toronto Blue Jays are one of the best offensive teams in the sport. You can look it up. Now, we thought we were going to have a happy ending because in the 8th inning, Nolan Arenado had a ground rule double, which scored 2, and the Cardinals led it 9-8. But in the 9th inning, Ryan Helsley could not lock it down. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. had the sac fly, which scored Kevin Kiermaier, and the Blue Jays win a wild one at Busch. The final 10-9.
It's unfortunate. A lot of contact, a lot of balls dropped. There's a lot of soft contact. There were some that weren't so soft. When you look at Miles and what he did, there was a lot of foul balls, which drove that pitch count up, and a lot of soft contact. Same with Hicks. You're looking at 3 singles in a row, and all pretty soft as well, but it's part of the game. It sucks.
A great offensive day is a terrible thing to waste. 15 hits and 9 runs for the Cardinals. Much more in this game, including an update on the injury to Wilson Contreras in about 15 minutes.
Frank. And even though it wasn't a Redbird winner, fans were just happy that baseball is back.
They also had some opinions about the new pitch clock. 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski is live outside of Busch Stadium, where it is all quiet now. Laura?
Mike and Ann, while it's quiet now, fans were really excited today to be back in the stands and even just outside the stadium. They say even though we didn't get the win, they're really hoping for a better season.
It's a holiday, really. Opening day is a holiday. Everyone's happy out here. Everyone's enjoying the Cardinals.
The sidewalks, the stands, and Ballpark Village are all packed with fans with beers in hand, enjoying the buzz of St. Louis Cardinals opening day.
The crowds, the camaraderie, the devotion that St. Louis has for our sports team. We are everything when it comes to sports.
While the team spirit is the same, there are some changes to the game. Fans weighed in on the new pitch clock in place to set the pace.
It seems similar. It seems very similar. But I think they're just getting used to it. I think everybody's a little jittery about it, but yeah.
The pitch clock actually helps a lot. When you think there was almost, 35 hits today, it was incredible. It would have been a 4-hour game otherwise, but it was really good.
But Cardinals fans didn't quite get the result they wanted.
It was a great opening day, a long game, exciting, up and down, but, we didn't come out on top.
Let's go, Blue Jays!
These Blue Jays fans, however, will be flying home with a win.
Well, this was an exciting opening game, really quite amazing, back and forth. So really, we had the big win to start the first inning, and then all of a sudden it just fell apart, and then we come back at the end. So great stuff.
From the littlest fans to the longtime fans, they hope this season will be a great one.
Go I think really well. I think great offense. We hope that the pitching should be there, and we should do really well.
I think we're going to look good this season. I think we'll be fine.
Go Cards!
Blue Jays fans say while they had a great time at the game today, Cardinals fans are hoping for redemption. We have an off day tomorrow, and then we come back to hopefully beat the Blue Jays on Saturday and Sunday. Reporting live from Busch Stadium, Laura Barczewski, 5 on your side.
And to watch all the best moments from Cardinals opening day, just head to the 5 on your side app.
Developing tonight. An American first. Hours ago, a New York grand jury indicted former President Donald Trump. Our Robert Townsend has local reaction to this historic move.
Well, I think this is going to be a big political circus.
With Donald Trump as the ringleader, says St. Louis University law professor Anders Walker. Thursday, a Manhattan grand jury decided to indict Trump, making him the first former U.S. president to face criminal charges. Professor Walker says right now it's not clear that the former president committed a major crime.
But New York State can't prosecute federal crimes. They might just get him on a misdemeanor of falsifying business records.
The grand jury was looking into $130,000 worth of hush payments to adult film actress Stormy Daniels on the eve of the 2016 presidential election. Trump allegedly gave Daniels the money to cover up an affair he has repeatedly denied.
President Trump probably should have just paid Stormy Daniels $150,000 cash and left it at that.
Hush payments are not illegal, but Trump classified his reimbursement of the payout as a legal expense.
If they try to link this to a federal election law crime, the judge might say there's nothing here. It could go fast. If it's a misdemeanor, it might just be a fine. There could be a plea deal. Who knows?
After the news broke, Trump swiftly took to social media. In a post, he called prosecutors, quote, thugs and radical left monsters. The former president also called the historic indictment against him an attack on our country. The Republican frontrunner says despite being charged with a crime, he will continue his third run for the White House in 2024. Here's a reaction from St. Louisans.
Person of his caliber, I think he will get away of the charge. and he will still be able to run.
Now, I'm waiting on to see if he's convicted. That'll be, the straw that tells it all.
Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
Trump is a Florida resident and required to appear for his arraignment in a Manhattan court. Earlier tonight, his lawyer confirmed to NBC News that the former president plans to surrender in person in New York next Tuesday.
A big shakeup tonight in the St. Charles County Prosecutor's Office. Tim Lomar announced his immediate resignation today. After 11 years in office, he says he's going into private practice. St. Charles County Executive appointed former Warren County Prosecutor Jennifer Bartlett as interim prosecutor. He hopes to nominate a permanent replacement before April 10th. The council will then have 15 days to reject that nomination, or that nominated person gets the job.
New tonight, a warning if you've eaten seafood lately. The health department says University City Supply Store was not properly storing products, causing a potential health risk. This company sells to individuals and restaurants. As 5 on your side's Brent Solomon explains, Seafood City is now ordered to shut down.
An empty parking lot is not typical here at Seafood City on Olive Boulevard in University City. I walked up to the front door only to be greeted by this: food establishment closed. The building now condemned by the Department of Health.
This is my favorite store for the seafood.
Gustavo Miranda runs the Mandarin House next door and shops at Seafood City for his restaurant.
Shrimp, crab.
He had no idea why his favorite supply store is shut down. We broke the news to him. Check out this health alert from St. Louis health officials. During the investigation, staff observed multiple refrigeration units holding foods above safe temperatures. There is a risk of foodborne illness when foods that require refrigeration for safety are not held at proper temperature.
This is how we grow bacteria in the lab.
Dr. Julie Mariner of Webster University understands why the health department took quick action.
Bacteria can double their numbers in 20-30 minutes.
Especially when food isn't stored at proper temperatures.
If you refrigerate food, bacteria particularly will grow very slowly or not at all. But when you increase, say, to room temperature or even just a little above refrigeration temperature, they can multiply very quickly.
She says heating up or cooking contaminated food doesn't make it safe.
I don't like this clothes because how can I buy my stuff?
Miranda hopes Seafood City can rebound and make things right. He says his business is down from all of the neighboring stores' foot traffic now gone.
I went to open because the customer come back.
Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
The health department says as late as this week, Seafood City was operating without a health permit. We contacted the store. We have not heard back. Health officials say if you've consumed food from that store, contact your doctor if you feel sick.
Putting a stop to illegal gun purchases.
We can work together to try and protect the community from something that everybody agrees is a crime and needs to be stopped.
The game plan to crack down on local gun violence. Taking 2 hits off pot purchases. The double-layered marijuana tax on Tuesday's ballot.
Overnight storms are not expected to be severe, but the ingredients are coming together for some of us Friday afternoon. I'm tracking where the strongest storms are most likely.
Don't lie for the other guy. That's the name of a new gun regulation campaign in St. Charles County. The idea is to educate gun store retailers to better spot and deter potential and illegal purchases. The director of the ATF came to St. Charles County and presented the program. He stressed that background checks are crucial in getting guns out of the wrong hands.
Once there, these firearms end up in the hands of people who are sometimes violent criminals and intend to do harm to the people with whom we live, the innocent citizens who are survivors and victims of gun crime.
In April, you'll start to see billboards and radio ads throughout St. Louis promoting the community working together to end gun violence.
Another Lake St. Louis police officer is home tonight after spending nearly 2 days in the hospital. 5 officers were hit by a car on I-70 near Maryland Heights early yesterday morning. 2 of the 5 are still in the hospital tonight. The driver, Matthew Jones, faces DWI charges.
When you walk into the voting booth on Tuesday, Maryland Marijuana will be back on the ballot. Many places in Missouri will have a question asking you to approve or reject a local sales tax.
But dozens of cities and towns in St. Louis County could vote on 2 layers of taxes. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, explains.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page says he supports Prop M.
Well, I'm voting for the tax on recreational marijuana, and I would hope that other people would do that too.
The county council voted to spend $300,000 promoting the ballot question, hoping the measure would pay off with a 10-fold return on investment and deliver county coffers $3 million a year in revenue.
It will go to county services that we need to provide. Most of our general revenue funds go to public safety, so the vast majority of this tax will go to help support our public safety budget.
The ballot question for St. Louis County doesn't specifically dedicate those dollars to public safety, leaving the funds open to the county council's discretion. 35 other cities and towns inside the county ask voters to approve a second layer of local sales tax, also at 3%. We asked Page, why do you think the county and cities inside it can double dip for 2 layers of local tax?
That's what the law says. The law says that the county can assess a tax on marijuana dispensaries within their borders.
In January, Page's office hammered Manchester officials in what they called a money grab over nearby pot shops, but recently changed their tune, saying both governments can collect 3% each, and pointed to this latest update from the Missouri Department of Revenue. At first, the state said cities and counties could not stack taxes on top of each other. Now they say they can.
In Missouri, the entity that decides what the law is on taxes is the State Department of Revenue. And the State Department of Revenue agrees with our position.
If voters approve both layers of taxes, courts could ultimately determine which government is entitled to collect the money. Lawyers who wrote the marijuana rules into the Constitution tried to limit local sales taxes to just one government, but the state essentially sidestepped that issue, leaving the open chance for a legal battle over a big pot of pot money.
Mark, thanks. Well, we had beautiful weather for opening day, but we are in for possibly some dangerous storms tomorrow. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell rejoins us.
Yeah, tomorrow's one of those days where we have a feeling that there's going to be some storms, but it's not convincing that there's going to be a lot of them that are really intense.
People don't need to totally freak out.
No, so, we're prepared, we're planning ahead, and we have a plan. We know where our safe space is and where to go. But at this point, it doesn't look like it's going to be widespread severe weather tomorrow. It looks like it's scattered storms Friday, and some of them may be strong to severe. And that does include the potential that there might be a couple of tornadoes somewhere not too far from St. Louis. But we're all not going to see that intense weather. The most likely timing, though, for the intense thunderstorms will be during the afternoon into the early evening, more likely around 4 to 7 o'clock for St. Louis. Strong gusty winds, though, for everybody Friday night into Saturday after the system presses on by. Lambert had a thunderstorm about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, and no rain to report outside of a trace at the airport so far. Some of us have had a little bit, and there's still some more bubbling up here. As you go farther southwest of Missouri down into the Ozarks, that's where it's much more widespread. But all of this is lifting to the north and northeast. It's a process helping to get that warmer, more humid air back in across the region. You see some of this activity coming up 44 right now. That's pushing through Franklin County, also out into Warren County, just west of Innsbrook. And then what went through St. Louis earlier is off to the east, and now we have a few new cells popping up around the metro area. Maybe you get a little bit of small hail with that. You'll get some downpours, but here's your overnight activity that pushes on through. By about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, most of it's east of the Mississippi River, and then we're left with mainly cloudy skies heading through the early morning hours tomorrow. The risk of severe weather tomorrow, there's a higher risk up across northeast Missouri, up into portions of Iowa, northwest portions of Illinois, down to our south from the Boot Heel, down towards Memphis, into northeastern Arkansas. We're also looking at another area that should see more widespread and potentially stronger storms. Now, we still have a pretty good potential here of seeing scattered severe weather, all because of this big system in the upper levels out here to the southwest that's now working its way towards the east, pulling that moisture up, bringing the energy towards us and bringing a strong jet stream aloft. All of that helps fuel showers and thunderstorms that tomorrow will be forming. The ones in mid-Missouri are over into central Illinois from 11 o'clock until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's how fast these things are moving. And along the front, we'll see more development tomorrow afternoon. So here it is locally. Your weather first forecast going towards noon. We're watching the cell that develops back towards the lake. Here's a closer inspection of that as we head towards about 11 o'clock, towards lunchtime, 1 o'clock. If you're on a line from Herman to Troy up to Carrollton and north, pay attention to that. There's several models that are indicating that that's going to be there tomorrow, and then it shifts north and east very quickly. We'll wait and we'll see what kind of scattered activity develops during the afternoon and evening hours. This is where we'll have the potential for some of those stronger storms to pop up if we are going to have them. And then everybody gets in on the wind as we go into tomorrow night. Winds will gust above 40 miles per hour, and through early Saturday morning, some of us may see wind gusts around 50 miles per hour. So we're keeping that weather alert going into Saturday. Some of us are going to have some isolated power outages just because those branches come down Friday night into Saturday. It's cold Saturday, but it warms up on Sunday.
All right, Scott, thank you. Here's Frank.
So how about a sportscast with Mark McGuire, Matt Holliday, and Joe Torre, and we will take you into the Cardinal clubhouse after a heartbreaking defeat.
The Sports Desk is sponsored by Jim Butler Chevrolet, the Midwest's #1 Chevy dealer 10 years running.
It was 3 hours and 38 minutes of pure, unadulterated offense. Fun to watch, but in the end, the second largest crowd in Busch Stadium history, 47,649, went home disappointed. 20-year-old Jordan Walker is the youngest American-born player to record a hit since Bryce Harper in 2012. Third inning, Tyler O'Neill with a 2-run bomb to right. That ties a major league record with a homer in 4 consecutive opening day games. Can I say Brendan Donovan is a stud? 3 hits, including this 2-run homer in the 4th that tied the game at 5. You know, he displayed that power in spring training. And this isn't good. Wilson Contreras is hit on the knee by a 103-mile-per-hour pitch. Contreras had to leave the game. They say it's just a contusion. Can't lose that guy. Can't stop this guy, Nolan Arenado, with a 2-run double in the 8th to give the Cardinals a 9-8 lead. Ryan Helsley could not pick up the save. He gave up 2 in the 9th. Vlad Guerrero Jr. with the game-winning sac fly. Blue Jays 10, Cardinals 9. Starting pitcher Miles Mikolas, speak your piece, please.
Death by 1,000 cuts sometimes. I don't think I can remember a game where a team has kind of made that much soft contact and had just about everything drop in for a hit, you know, broken bats and just kind of rolling through the infield. But you also got to give credit. You know, they reached out and they put some good pitches in play.
I don't know if you can describe it, man. I remember I just enjoyed the feeling. Gotta take a deep breath because, you know, the game gets fast on here, so I took a deep breath. But yeah, it was a really good feeling against a really good pitcher, so I probably wouldn't have it any other way.
The Hall of Famers win their red jackets. The first time for Matt Holliday as a Cardinal Hall of Famer. There's Big Mac. What an ovation for him. Willie McGee with the sport coat over the uni. Nice look. Jason Isringhausen. He loves this. Ozzie Smith looking like $1 million. And then there were people like 82-year-old Joe Torre. He knows there's no place like St. Louis for baseball.
Once you're a Cardinal, it's like your royalty, and it doesn't go away. And I mean, I was traded, I was fired, and yet, you know, people, you know, love to see you when you come back.
It never gets old. You know, I living in Orange County, California, you know, it's just, you don't get this. And you know, coming back here is such a special place, put on this beautiful red jacket. It's I mean, you know, listen, I was here for a short 4 years. They make me feel like I played 25 years here.
I think I feel a little old, but the company that you get to keep and wearing a red jacket around here is very humbling and honoring to be part of.
The St. Louis Blues playing a game on the same day as opening day for the Cardinals would be like a guy walking into a singles bar with Brad Pitt. not many are noticing. The question is, would they notice this man with the St. Louis Blues horseshoe mustache? That could turn some heads at the bar, I think. Kind of like this goal, scoreless in the second. Brandon Saad with a gorgeous pass to Jacob Verana, who's hotter than a campfire. 9 goals in 13 games. Third period, and this was the game winner, Sammy Blais to Jordan Kyrou, his 34th of the season, and the Blues win again, the final 5-3. And that will do it in sports.
All right, Frank, thanks.
Still ahead, one more look at that severe weather heading our way tomorrow, and Scott will join us. With storms in the forecast, we are in weather alert for tomorrow. Scott?
You know, and one thing about it, we're going to have some thunder overnight tonight. Don't worry about tonight. There's not going to be severe weather tonight. Might be some small hail. This is what we want you to notice. So for tomorrow, around lunchtime, looking north and northwest of St. Louis, this north of Herman, going up towards Bowling Green, and it'll spread towards Pittsfield. Watch some development around lunchtime in this area tomorrow because conditions are favorable for rotating storms there. Elsewhere, it'll be later in the day and towards tomorrow evening when things start to fire up. Mike and Am will be here. Starts first thing tomorrow morning with Today in St. Louis at 4.
And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show is next.
He is Edward Norton. Start your day with Today in St. Louis for the latest on the weather and have a great Friday.